One. Welcome to Bass Talk, presented by Z-Man. And today, this week, our special guest is someone that needs no introduction. He is probably the most thriftiest guy on the FLW Tour. He's been known to frequent many of one-star hotels. He knows where they're all at and loves to stay at them. But it's just coming off a third-place finish at Beaver Lake on the FLW Tour, Luke Clausen. So,
how's it going, guys?
We're doing pretty good. It looks like you're driving. I hope you're not driving. I hope you're on the side of the road right now. I don't want you to get in an accident.
Yeah, we pulled over to the side of the road for this one. I'm actually on my way to the Potomac. I'm somewhere in Virginia outside Roanoke right now on the way over there, and had someone pull my boat over, so I need to get there and work on a little bit of tackle before practice starts on Sunday.
Good deal. Well, I'm sure you're excited about going back to the Potomac. Obviously, you won there last year. The time of year was a couple weeks different than it is this year, and of course, we've had a crazy spring. It went from summer back to spring again. So, how do you think that's going to relate going into this event? Are you going to go in with an open mind coming up here with the practice period that starts on Saturday or Sunday, rather?
Yeah, I'm going in with definitely an open mind for reasons. Biggest thing, so just grass like all the time. Even load my last year. I was going to it and see where it's at right now. Whenever we have an unseasonably warm spring like this, it seems like the spawn starts earlier, but doesn't necessarily happen earlier. It just drags out for a longer period. So I'm sure there will be some fish pre-spawn, there will be some post-spawn fish, and some spawning. It'll be a little bit of everything, and it'll probably vary in different places of the river.
Now let's talk a little bit about the last tournament over at Beaver Lake. You made a nice run in that tournament. You ended up coming short by about 13 or 14 ounces. I know you wanted to win that deal, and you were probably, out of all the guys in the top 5, you were the most consistent with weights. And I know that typically that type of fishery you love because there's a lot of junk fishing going on and you kind of move around a lot. But I think it was a little different story for you in this go-around. And let us all know a little bit about how you did well in that tournament and some of the techniques that you honed in on while you were there.
After practice, I would have said if I could have caught what I caught during the event, I'd take my chances and see where it ended up. But as the event went on, I felt like I had a really good shot at winning, and it was kind of a bittersweet thing to end it. Happy to get a third-place finish, great points, good money, but you always want to win that opportunity there. Throughout practice, I guess I was dialed into a couple things. There's a worm we've mentioned before that Z-Man's going to come out with here. It's kind of a power finesse worm. It's just a phenomenal bait for me. I've caught fish on it whenever I throw it, and it's a great numbers bait. I've caught some big ones on it, but when you need to get a bite, it's a great bait. And I was going to do that and throw an umbrella-style rig. And the first couple days, that was really what I did. We didn't have the wind the first day I anticipated, and I caught some on that worm, and I caught some on that umbrella rig with Z-Man minnows, some other swim baits. It didn't really seem to matter what bait I had on there. But as the tournament progressed, I really got dialed into that umbrella rig. I really felt like my opportunity to catch bigger fish on a consistent basis was there. And stuck it out the last 2 days, I guess, throwing nothing but that, and really tried to dial in where I was going to catch them at certain times of the day. And I kind of learned as the tournament went on that I could catch them in the morning a little bit deeper on it. The fish wanted to be further down the water column, and I'd fish a lot of steeper channel-type swing banks and bluff ends, stuff like that. And as the day went on, the fish seemed to get shallower and move up on flatter stuff, and you could work the bait faster. I was throwing it a lot more like a spinner bait later in the day. I could see the bait most of the time, reeling it along pretty close to the surface later in the day as the sunlight got higher and the fish got shallower.
You hear people talking about with the craze of the umbrella rig right now that, this bait's going to win every tournament, and anybody can pick it up and anybody can throw it, and it's just magic. But my understanding is that's not the case. There's a lot of nuances to this bait, just like any new bait that comes out, and there's just so many different ways to fish it. So can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, these umbrella-style rigs are so new to everybody. We don't really know what the limits are with it. And I think that's the neat thing about it. You know, it's fun to go out and throw it. I've never caught them on it, burning it like I was here. You know, catch them different ways, and we're going to continue to find ways and different baits to put on it. And it's never going to be the kind of bait that everybody's just going to go catch them on. You look at a tournament like this, other tournaments like the Everstart that just took place at Guntersville, it's the same guys you'd expect to see in the top 10 that are there throwing it. It's the only guys that lose out on it are guys that refuse to pick it up and are against it. They're the ones that are losing out. You know, it's a great bait right now, probably as good as it'll ever be because it is so new. But you still have to find the fish and figure out how to catch them on it. And the guys that are good at finding them and figuring them out are still going to be the ones that come out on top when throwing that bait.
I got to ask you, is it going to play a role up in the Potomac? I know there's some regulations as far as how many baits you can have on it in Maryland versus Virginia, but is it going to play a role in this tournament?
You know, I'm pretty doubtful that the umbrella rig will play a role at all up here at the Potomac. I'm going to have one tied on for practice. I'm going to throw it around a little bit. Again, we just don't know the limits of it, and I'm going to have one on my deck probably for every tournament and throw it around a little bit. It's no different than having a spinner bait on your deck or a chatter bait. You have those baits there, and they're tools in your arsenal, and sometimes they play a major role in that tournament you're in, and sometimes they don't. I'm going to have one here. We can only have 2 hooks on it in Maryland, so it takes a little bit away from it. But on the Virginia side, you can have as many as you want. It's just going to be really difficult to throw around shallow milfoil. Milfoil traditionally is so soft anyway that bait touches it. It's going to be hard to keep the grass off the bait. But I'm going to experiment with a little bit, and we'll see what happens.
All right, now without giving away any information, location, that kind of thing, and patterns, do you think you're going to be able to do the kind of things that you did last year? Is that going to work? Or are you going to go in with a different approach coming up in this next tournament?
No, you know, I think I'll really be able to do a lot of the same things. The areas are going to change. In a river system like this, I think the fish will be in a different place in different parts of the river, and there's going to be 1 or 2 sections of the river that are predominantly better than the rest of it. So a lot of it's fine in the area, but last year I was able just to go and fish, and I caught some flipping, I caught some pitching, casting, swimming, just based on the tide and where the grass was at there with that tide, how much water it had on it. I would do something different and keep experimenting, trying to learn. And I think it's going to be the same kind of thing this year. It's just finding the right area that keeps producing and making the right decisions throughout the day.
Good deal. We've got some questions that have come in from our Z fans. Corey Singleton wants to know, what's the best color choice as far as plastics for black tannic water where you've got about 6 inches of visibility?
Anytime you get in that tannic water, it's really hard to beat Junebug. Regardless if it's tannic in Florida where Junebug's big everywhere or tannic in the Midwest somewhere, Junebug is always an awesome color in that dark tannic water. And especially with 6 inches visibility, I'd say that's going to be hard to beat. If you get a clear tannic water, don't be afraid to try watermelon though.
Good deal. Cody Haddon wants to know, what do you throw when you're fishing shallow banks with deep drop-offs on them? Cut banks.
Cut banks, those cut banks, it's always a pitch and flipping type deal because you're trying to fish the target, the corners on those cut banks. Wherever you have the bank that falls off, the fish usually don't hang on a straight section as much as if there's a little point or pocket to that cut bank. So you're pitching and flipping there. The Z-bait flapping craws, creature bait like that's hard to beat. And also you can catch them on the zinkers too if the water gets clear and those fish aren't reacting to a faster falling bait like that.
Good deal. Thank you for that information. So Angler of the Year, you're sitting in 8th place right now in points. I know typically you'll probably tell us it's not a big deal. You're not really worried about it. It'll shake out in the end. But I know you're a competitor. You've been close. It's the only thing you haven't really won. You've won all the big tournaments. I know it's important to you. Tell me about your mindset going into the next 3 events.
Yeah, you try to keep it in the back of your mind. It is still something you think about. It really doesn't matter until the last day of the last tournament when they add the points up where it all finishes, but you definitely think about it. Right now, though, I'm worried about going tournament to tournament. I really want to win an event this year, and I'm going to try to win the next 3 of them, and not worry about it. If that happens, I'll win. But that's all a guy can do right now. You think about it a little bit, but I'm not going to lay up and go try to catch any little ones to get some points anywhere. It's going to take some pretty solid finishes for anybody in the top 10 to win right now, so you got to do all you can for the next 3 events.
I hear you, buddy. Listen, well, Luke, we really appreciate your time today. I know you want to get up to the Potomac and get your tackle ready. You got a big week next week. We wish you all the luck in the world, and we look forward to catching up with you here in the next couple of weeks and on a follow-up.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. Look forward to talking to you again.
Good luck this week, buddy.
All right, thank you, man.
Cool.